They mocked me. My family, my friends, everyone I knew. When I said I wanted to become a painter, no, a real artist, they laughed. "That's a stupid dream," they sneered. "You'll never make a living. You're embarrassing us with your foolishness." It wasn't just words. It was the look in their eyes, disgust, disbelief, pity. They saw my passion as a joke, a childish obsession that would fade. But I knew, deep inside, that I was meant for something more. I could feel it in my bones. This wasn't just a phase. It was my destiny. So I left. I packed a bag, said nothing at first, then walked out the door with nothing but a canvas and a handful of paint. I was determined to prove them wrong. I threw myself into the grind, every brushstroke a silent rebellion. Nights blurred into days. I painted in dingy apartments, in crowded cafes, wherever I could find space. I sold my work for pennies, slept on couches, sacrificed friendships, family, everything to chase that dream. Years passed. I struggled. I was rejected more times than I could count. Critics dismissed my art as amateurish. Galleries turned me down flat. My savings drained, hope flickered like a dying flame. But I kept going. Every rejection fueled my fire. Every small win, every piece that sold was a silent middle finger to those who laughed at me. Then, one day, everything changed. A gallery finally took a chance, a major exhibit, a chance to show the world what I had created. My paintings, raw and powerful, resonated with people. They saw the soul in my work, the pain, the passion. I sold out the show. Critics praised me. I became known. I was no longer the laughingstock. I was someone who had fought tooth and nail to prove his worth. And now I was returning home, not as the laughingstock, but as someone who had risen from the ashes. The house was the same, yet everything had changed. I parked my car in the driveway, took a deep breath, and stepped out. My heart pounded in my chest as I approached the door. I could feel their eyes on me. Family, friends, neighbors. They knew I'd made it, but I wasn't there to gloat. I was there to show them what perseverance looked like. As I entered, the familiar voices fell silent. My parents looked at me, eyes wide with a mixture of shock and something else. Maybe shame? I didn't care. I had come home to show them what their doubts had almost destroyed. I carried a large wrapped canvas, a gift from my mother. I handed it to her gently. Her hands trembled as she peeled back the paper. When she saw it, her breath hitched. It was a portrait. Her, my father, my childhood home, painted with a depth and emotion that words couldn't capture. The colors swirled with life, the brushstrokes loud with meaning. I looked into her eyes and saw the realization dawn. "I did this because I wanted to show you," I said softly. "I wanted you to see what I've become, not what you thought I'd be. I never wanted your approval. I only wanted to prove that my dreams weren't foolish. They were mine." My father looked at the painting, then at me, silent. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. He finally spoke, voice thick with emotion. "We were wrong. We didn't see your fight. We didn't see your heart. We were afraid you'd fail, but you didn't. You proved us wrong in the most beautiful way." Tears welled in my eyes, not from regret, but from the weight of years of doubt, of pain, of rejection finally lifting. I had come home not just as a successful artist, but as someone who had refused to be broken by their rejection. I turned to my family, my voice steady. "This is just the beginning. I didn't do this to rub it in. I did it to remind you, dreams are worth fighting for. No matter how ridiculous they seem, no matter how many people tell you to give up, in that moment, I saw their faces soften. My mother reached out, tears streaming down her cheeks. My father nodded slowly, understanding. I had returned not just victorious, but transformed. I had become someone who refused to be silenced, who refused to accept the word failure when I knew what I was capable of. Walking out that door, I'd left behind the doubt, the ridicule, the shame. I had built a life that proved everyone wrong. I was living proof that perseverance, passion, and unyielding belief could turn the impossible into reality. And as I looked back at the house I once fled from, a house that once seemed to mock my dreams, I knew I had finally come home, not just to a place, but to myself. I had become the artist I was always meant to be, and I wasn't finished yet.